All right, Juju.
Yep.
Juju, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Inglewood, California.
Where?
Inglewood, California.
Inglewood.
Yeah.
And tell me about your family growing up.
I was raised by my grandma. My mom was in and out of jail, and I don't know my father. So, yeah.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
It was cool. I was raised around like a bunch of kids. I have a lot of like brothers, sisters. So, I have a adopted side of family. They raised me for the most part on the weekends. Yeah, it was decent, normal childhood.
No terrible abuse or anything like that?
I want to say a little bit emotional abuse. But other than that, yeah.
How far did you go in school?
Huh?
How far did you go in school?
How far? I graduated high school. Yeah, that's about it.
How'd you get into this line of work?
I got turned out.
After you graduated?
I want to say like I've been doing it for 7 months. I'm 23, so when I was 22. Yeah.
How'd that happen?
How did it happen? I was just getting asked if I wanted to make a different type of money opportunity.
What were you doing before?
What was I doing before? I was doing maid work, camp counseling kids. I worked in an ice cream shop. And what else did I do? Little stuff for my mom's law firm.
How does the money compare now to what you're...
It outweighs all the stuff I've done before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about your first time turning a trick.
Turning a trick? How was my first time? Okay, I was ready to go. Wasn't trying to do any cheap dates. I was ready to go. And then somebody told me if I wanted to make $100. And I said, yep. And followed them to a spot.
Are you working with a pimp or no?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
And what are the advantages of that?
The advantages of it, it's like an assistant in a way. Little personal assistant.
An assistant who takes all your money?
Not quite. It's like a money manager too. You get it back.
You do?
Yeah.
How much?
I mean, you get half of it back.
Half of it?
Yeah, and then you live off the rest. So it's not that bad.
Where are you staying, in a motel or where do you live?
I stay in a motel now. Yeah. I just left my apartment like 4 months ago, 5. Yeah.
Do you have kids?
No.
No kids. Tell me about the guys that are your customers.
They're all right sometimes. Sometimes I feel like they're slow for me. Like they can move a little bit faster, but they just be wanting their time. But for the most part, they're okay.
They're mostly Mexican on Fig?
I want to say mostly Mexican. Most Mexican faces.
And you guys will go to a motel or a car or?
Either or, yeah.
Emotionally, how does this work affect you?
How?
Emotionally, how does this work affect you?
How does the word affect me?
The work.
The work? Emotionally.
Working as a prostitute, does it affect you in any way?
Well, I feel like me kind of already being like, from like how I grew up, it was a certain type of pressure that I had to be a certain type of way. So I feel like the pressure is there sometimes, but it's not really, it's not too bad.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
Are drugs a part of your life?
Drugs, marijuana.
That's it?
That's it. A little bit of alcohol. A little bit.
And working Fig, is that, tell me about being on the street.
Being on the street.
What are the hassles? I know there's things you go through there.
The hassles. At first I didn't really like Fig all too much. I felt like it was just a waste of time. But after a while, when I kept pulling back up to Fig, um, I just tend to do my own thing and it works. It works out.
Have you had any bad experiences?
Bad experiences? Yeah. I can't lie. Like 2 days ago, they ran out the car, took my little purse with $85 in it. I just got me some condoms. So yeah. It wasn't too bad. Charged it to the game. But yeah.
Were there other things you wanted to do with your life?
Yes, there is.
What would you like to do?
I want to be a cosmetologist.
You can still do that.
I know.
You're young.
Yeah.
Are you just hoping to save some money and
Yup, that's what it is. And get on a little program, be more stable, you know. Have like certain things in order and then get myself situated into school.
have you been in love before?
In love? I want to say that, yeah. Before I started this, I was in a relationship, but got weird. Yeah.
Would the fact that you're doing this now get in the way of that kind of relationship?
The relationship that I was in a relationship, I wasn't doing this. I left the relationship, started doing this, and I went back to the relationship. But I see things for what it is when I went back. Like I can, tell things did change. They got comfortable with me making so much money. So that was one thing I didn't really like too well. Like I don't want nobody else's to like, if I'm taking care of like people with what I do, I don't want their motivation to be like, oh, I don't have to work for myself or, I don't have to do too much, too much work out here. But that's all I do is work.
Yeah, so all you do is work.
Yeah.
And they're feeding off you.
Yeah, that's the only issue. Like, don't think I'm, expect to, see too much out of this so fast. But, yeah.
What kind of relationships did you see as a kid growing up? Your dad wasn't around.
I had a stepfather. He did a good job raising me with my my grandma. Actually, that's my, what do you call it, step granddad. I called my grandma mom at one point and him dad, so that's why I say that. And it was pretty cool, but when they had their own little problems, you know how that shit goes. You see problems in the household.
What's the hardest part of this job for you?
Hardest part? Okay. I want to say when you make a certain type of money and you're trying to maintain like your lifestyle or whatever you're already trying to like accomplish, and I want to say money is not the same every day. So you can't get used to like however much money you make on certain type of days because you don't always get that walking the streets. So yeah.
What do you think the most misunderstood thing is about women that do this kind of work?
Before I did it, I wasn't all the way too down for it. But when I heard the benefits of like, you can always use a condom, I was kind of down for it. I was down for it, yeah. And the money was there, so it's not
You think prostitution should be legalized?
Yes. I hear it like all the people I date, they go through stuff with their own like, stuff at home. They just need to get that like that little lonely time in or
You
whatever.
think a lot of a lot of your customers are married?
I want to say have girlfriends or wives. Yeah.
Makes you wonder whether people are supposed to be monogamous or not.
Right.
When there's so many people sneaking around.
Yeah.
What's your biggest regret in your life?
My biggest regret? I don't think I have any. Everything is a learning experience.
How do you think working the streets is changing you?
It's changing me to grow up a little bit. A lot of it, actually. So,
Do you see men differently now?
yes, through a lot of perspectives.
Can you trust a man again after seeing all what you've seen?
I that was a tough one. You just gotta find somebody that you trust, and if it becomes like just weird or like you feel like somebody's keeping secrets, then just to go with your gut and move a little bit different. Because I feel like it helps, like with your peace of mind, like, you know, you don't feel played like all the time.
Having somebody you trust is everything.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a woman who's thinking about doing this?
Advice? Watch your surroundings. Don't stand in the street too much. When you're interviewing,
Interviewing meaning when a guy's pulling up on you and
yeah, when somebody
out.
wants to talk to you, make sure they're not a weirdo. Like, you know, want to make sure you can take advantage of them before they can take advantage of you.
You have to use your intuition a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
You guys have to develop a keen sense of who's worth spending your time with and who isn't.
Yeah. Yup. That's a major key. Major key.
Juju, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Lesson I've learned in my life? Important lesson? Damn, there's so many of them. I don't know. I really got to think about that one. Important lesson that I learned in my life. I want to say it's good to be humble and with a good spirit at all times. I feel like that's very good to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It gets you out of a lot of situations and whatever you're going through a lot quicker. Keeping a good attitude, yeah.
All right, Juju. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck out there. Be careful.
All right.
Thank you.